Well, hey guys, how you doing today? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. Glad to have you here. Today I wanted to talk to you about a very interesting experience I had several years ago. Well, actually, it was way back around 2005. There was a UFO conference in Laramie, Wyoming. And during the conference, Dr. Stephen Greer was there from the CSETI project. And he said that he could help us learn how to vector in, ET craft to a specific location, and that we were going to do this right there during the conference. And I have to tell you the truth, I was a bit skeptical. I was more than a bit skeptical that 80 people could go out into the desert out there, and actually prairie, and that a UFO would show up. We did a meditation, and we kind of used our imagination to use this specific protocol that he had developed to kind of imagine a craft and show the occupants our location within the solar system on the planet and so forth, and then pick a specific time where we would meet them later on that evening. And so we actually did this. We did the meditation, and then later that evening around 7 we went out north of Laramie to a location that was a known UFO hotspot. We all gathered out there in the field, and the first thing that happened was there was a big thunderstorm, and we're looking around, and the thunderstorm clears up. All of a sudden this light shows up. I had estimators about a mile or two up in the sky, and but you can't really tell exactly, but it was just very blue. And it wasn't moving that quickly, but it was kind of moving directly over us. And you're kind of wondering what is that? There's no sound. It's kind of moving, kind of on the slow side. All of a sudden, it's like a switch was flipped, and a light started coming down from this object. It was like this brilliant blue beam of light coming from above. It was one of the brightest things I've ever seen in the sky. I mean, this thing was like flaming, but blue, like a laser that you would see at a Pink Floyd concert or something like this. Brilliant blue laser beam. I mean, you could have read a book underneath it. It was that bright. And we're all standing there in a state of shock, really, because you're wondering, what is this thing? The way lasers can kind of undulate a little bit, or appears that way to your eye. And extremely bright. And about half the group saw it, half the group was looking other directions. So this was right over us, and the group was dispersed all over the field. And then just as suddenly, it maybe lasted about 5-10 seconds, the light went out, and then the whole thing, the object, was just gone, just like that. So it kind of traversed, like a part of the sky turned on, and then all of a sudden it went out, and then the whole object was just gone like that. And it was one of the most interesting and shocking experiences of my entire life. I mean, because we really saw something. And if you're thinking how it works, your imagination is very powerful. I've made videos on this channel before about multiverse theory. And in a multiverse idea, there are alternate realities to the life that you have right now, where other things are possible. And your imagination is your connection to those realities. So it seems quite possible to me that if you, in your imagination, or especially with a group of people, imagine something, kind of see it happening, you're actually connecting to a real parallel reality, and there's no reason why ETs, or whoever they are, I mean, I don't know if they're off-planet or where they're from, but who's ever in those advanced vehicles, if they can't navigate through multiverses to actually meet you. I mean, this is what appeared to happen. Of course, I'm curious to hear what your explanation is. If you have another idea, please tell me. Someone did write me at one point, how come you didn't get a picture of it? Well, those people saw it. Well, listen, when you see something like that, your first instinct is not to reach for your camera. You're kind of absorbing the information. You don't really have time to think what to do next. You're just so engrossed in the experience. Maybe after 30 seconds or so, you think, hey, I have a camera, I should take a picture, but it wasn't really long enough for that to happen. So, and also it's kind of moving, and it's at night. Even bright objects don't come out that well. You don't come out well on cameras, especially now about 15 years ago. So this type of experience is where you're actually acting like an active beacon to attract other types of intelligence. And that's why I call it kind of like an active beacon ET-RV protocol. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but you're using RV not just to resonant viewing, to perceive information from a distance. You're actually sending the information out, projecting it outward. It's kind of becoming like a two-way street, like a crystal, which has properties to receive and transmit frequencies simultaneously. And you're acting kind of like that crystal and broadcasting in a sense the way a radio would, but perhaps, at a quantum frequency to someone else who can pick that up. And you said, hey, let's meet at so-and-so, such and such location at a certain time, and they picked up your beacon signal. So I think it's really interesting. It's something I've never forgotten. I think it was a real event, and I can't think of any conventional explanation for something going from that dim to that bright and moving very slowly with no sound. Very controlled. It seemed like a highly advanced technology, and it really afterwards it left me with a really strange feeling for a couple of days, like maybe I had encountered an alien craft or something just a mile away like that. I mean, you wonder like, well, who's in there? And what's their purpose? What's their agenda? Are they going to beam us all up or what? You just don't know. But it had that feeling. I mean, it felt like a real experience. So, in any case, I hope you can experience something like that too. And feel free to put your comments in the box below if you think you know what we experience out there or not. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Okay, thanks a lot. We'll talk another time and take care. Bye.